Hello, she's Trixie, I'm Sarah, and this is our Yarn World, a place where we come to share the love of yarn and crafts and crafting in general, and the joy it brings us, and the joy that we hope it brings you, and the peace and security it gives us as life happens. And we have some interesting stories and things to talk about, and we are excited for today's episode.
Yes.
I know I'm personally excited just because that means that I have survived most of the day to get here. It's always a joy to be able to make these videos and just be able to have something to look forward to during the week.
Yeah.
I like this show and tell aspect of like, hey, look what I've gotten done.
Yeah.
I was hoping to have more done today than I do, but we're really in the Christmas theme.
Well,
I've
and
noticed that.
I just wanted to interject one thing here. We are filming this on Wednesday now instead of Thursday. We used to film on Thursday and then show it on Tuesday. We're now filming on Wednesday and showing it. We're publishing it on Fridays.
Yep.
So last week was our first Friday. And I just wanted to let you know that because some people might be looking for Tuesdays and we're not there anymore.
Yep.
So.
Our videos will be taking place on Fridays when you are seeing them.
We wanted to be closer to when we were actually filming
for context, yeah.
To publish it, because sometimes it's so far out that it's not in the timeline anymore.
Yeah. Filming in one week and publishing it the next week makes it very confusing sometimes, and we recognize that because by the time we're publishing it, the following days when we're filming again, and then it's just like,
there we go.
It just kind of can be confusing even on our end as to what you guys know, compared to what what life has already been like for us, or what we've gotten done, or what is to be recorded or not. So we just want to try to make that more consistent as a 1 week procedure.
And a little closer.
Yeah, so just we do it this day, it happens this day. It's in the same weight.
And we still have to get the editing done, so we have a day in between. But we're there. We're getting there. So
we have some interesting things to share today. Mainly, I know that you have been talking about like what you want to do with all these blankets that you're making. Because it's such a joy for you to make blankets. It's your comfort.
Yeah.
It's your comfort project.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited. If I'm correct, I know who is getting this blanket, and it's my best friend. So I'm really excited about this.
So I'm, as soon as I got done with the last one, I just immediately started this one because I thought, Christmas is coming up, and Sarah's in the Christmas theme right now, and so I went home and I raided my shelf and I got all the reds, greens, whites and creams out that I could, and they're all in varying colors and everything, but it's coming out pretty good. It's starting with the red, green, red, and then I mixed it up, and then I did green, red, green, and I mixed it up, and then the red, green, red again. And then I just decided, you know what, I was running out of those colors, so I just started doing the red and a light green, and the white and the green, and a little bit of the red again, and now I'm back in the white and green again. But I only have so many balls of color, and it's just going to have to be whatever comes up next. But I'm working in the green and white right now, and it's so satisfying having something that you know who the person's it's going to, and she loves Christmas. She loves green, and so I'm just thinking it's going to be a really nice gift for her. She doesn't know it's coming yet, and that's always fun too, because you get to complete it and they don't even know it's coming, and then you get to surprise them with it.
To be fair, I was just about to say her name, but the fact that you said that green's her favorite color, when she married her husband, her last name is now Green. So there's a lot going into how she plays that up, because yes, her favorite color has always been green, or in the green family. Pun intended.
Yeah.
But she's when we were younger, she really liked like turquoises and those sorts of greens where it's not necessarily fully blue, but it's like just that off. But then she went fully into the green, and she's always liked green. A lot of her favorite characters growing up had a lot of green in them, or she just liked the color and she dyes her hair that color all the time. Yeah. Like if she's bored, green is something she always has in her cabinet just to color her hair. Her hair is currently green right now, greenish blue because it's fading. But Christmas is a very particularly magical time of a year for her. She didn't always have the greatest childhood, but in memory and but being able to now have her husband and her son, Christmas is something that she is making almost like a priority, if that makes sense, because it means that much to her. They have a 25 days of Christmas countdown where she has activities to do every single day in December.
See, now that's fun.
Where there's like outings to go down to, in our aspect, Grand Haven.
Right. To
do their Christmas walk. She does. Okay. She goes to the light shows where you just drive and you get to see the lights. She makes sure that, hey, a snowman's going to be built in our front yard, or I'm going to there's certain things that she has happen leading up to Christmas.
To make her son have a magical Christmas.
Yes. That kid is never not going to have insane Christmas traditions. And she has albums for Christmas songs just based on mood. And I'm not kidding when I'm saying that she's like, I want Christmas songs, but I need them sad. She has a playlist for that. She needs a Christmas album that is literally bent in like a minor key so that it's more calming or just relaxing. She has a full playlist for that. Anything that's hyper, she has it. Anything for this, she has it. She's curated all of them. It's insane. And last year she dyed her hair green, red, and with strips of like other like Christmas colors, so that she could curl them and it would look like ribbons of Christmas ribbons in her hair.
See,
the
creativity
loves Christmas. And she moved into a new house this year. This is going to be so awesome. It does not have to be cohesive to be Christmas for her. It is Christmas, but I'm saying like it doesn't have to be like this perfect striped pattern of like da 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 da, or how it's proportioned or where everything lies. The green, red, and white and cream is going to just she's gonna love that thing. Yeah. She's gonna end up video chatting me nice, and I'm gonna see her huddled with it or something, or as Andrew's gonna love it or something, but I have Christmas gifts I'm hoping to have time to be able to make her. Yeah. I'm hoping I have time to make. There's this pattern for Fingerless Gloves.
Oh, yeah.
With a really cool pattern that I want to do in red and green or red and white for her. But I'm not sure if I'm going to have the time to do it.
Right.
But these are things I'm just hoping that everything turns out to plan, but in the end, it's just nice that my mom didn't have someone set for this blanket. She just was making it, and I suggested Stephanie, and it just was an instantaneous, well, this is where it's going, and it just felt like even if I'm not going to be able to get something to her homemade, she's getting a homemade something because she deserves it. She needs these sort of pick-me-ups because there's just been a lot of change in her life recently.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. Being able to celebrate people's strengths with them in a very unique way, or not only strengths but passions with people in a very unique way. I see this in you, therefore I made this to represent what I see in you. And
it's kind of neat because I was crocheting way back, and my son's best friend also, when he married his girlfriend, I had made them a cream colored Afghan to go at the end of their bed.
Yes.
And they still have it, and they still use it. And
yep, it was just one solid color.
Yeah, and
just
it was so
cream.
pretty.
It was just one big solid. It was huge.
And they said they still have it, and they lay it out at the end of their bed, and it completes the room. And that memory just came back to me that, so now I've done for my son's best friend, and now your best friend. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of like completing a circle in my life of all these people that have been in my life through my kids that, it's just fun. And I'm considering just making these blankets and giving them away. So, and doing that, it's fun for me. I've got the project to do, but giving it to somebody and seeing their face is another thing altogether. I like that.
And I really like the idea of, like, you're creating them and you obviously have a vision as to what you want to create to some degree.
Right.
To some degree you do. And then just, even if you don't have a mind as to who it's going to go to, knowing that by the end of the project you're likely going to have someone it's going to fit perfectly, or someone that you see face when you make it. It reminds you of them.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like it being like a ministry of, like, it's just like that whole ministry of, like, love of, like, I'm sorry, I'm saying like a lot. Wow. It's that aspect of seeing someone in the project. It's the whole seeing David in the stone.
Yeah.
They were just he was just chipping him out of it.
Yeah.
The stone was wrapped around David. David was always there. It's the same thing kind of with this. You don't always know who it's going to, but what happens and what's created best suits who gets it, just based on the fact that it was them.
Yeah.
Their personality comes out of it.
When you suggested that she get it, it was like
a done deal.
That's who it goes to then.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's November. We still have Thanksgiving. And there's nothing.
We no longer have the red leaves, though. Oh my gosh, I just looked out there and saw all these bare trees.
Only these bare trees. All the other, like, golden brown ones are still there. I was driving earlier and they just were flying off into my car, and I was just like, excuse you. Pick yourselves up. But I stopped at the gas station before I went, because I had enough time. And they had a winter spiced cranberry Sprite. And it's Sprite with a cranberry taste in it. So it really reminds me of like a holiday punch.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like with the cranberry punch with that Sprite that's always mixed in there somewhere.
Yeah, with the bubbles still.
Mm-hmm. And I've been enjoying it. So to recap, you can go ahead and continue crocheting if you want to. I'm having surgery Friday. So today's Wednesday. By the time this video is uploaded, I probably will be having the surgery, and or later on I will have already completed my surgery.
Right.
And I had goals set for this week. Okay? So, like, I wanted things to be done before my surgery happened.
Right.
I needed that, if that makes sense. Like, in myself, just being like, I needed these certain projects completed for me to feel like I'm ready for, like, this is a major shift. By this time, excuse me, bubbles of the pop just kind of came up. But by this time, I will need to have this done to be better prepared for the next stage. So, like, my father-in-law comes for my daughter's birthday, which is August 24th. In that general time, by the end of August, my father-in-law comes to make a visit to see her.
Yeah.
And
his daughter's birthday is the 28th, so it's kind of an inclusive thing.
Yeah. And in doing so, he generally has now made it a routine, or it is becoming a routine of, or I can see a routine happening that when he comes during that time of the year, he is going to have orders for Christmas.
Yeah.
I've already completed the Santa pillow, but he had a order for me to fill as to make Santa hats that are going to slide at the back of his chairs, and they have the top of the hats fall over to the over the edge of the chair. And he had inspiration. I had shown him some of these ideas because he loves stuff like this, so I was showing him things that I was thinking about making for the holidays, and then he pretty much made my choices for me. Gotta love him. And he texted his partner because they did not come together, and asked him to measure out the backs of the chairs to be able to know, double the circumference and then add a little bit of width for the sides of the chairs, right? It came out to, in the end, it would be 26 inches, meaning that the backs of the chairs, the width of it would be only 12 inches a foot. And I'm kind of confused by that, but I've also never been to his house because he lives in Florida. So I'm assuming that either it's just because the tops of the chairs are narrower than the full width of the chair, or that they just have what is maybe possibly longer back chairs that are thinner, or that maybe they bar off just differently. You don't know how.
You just don't know.
I don't know. But he said that that's what it was. And he said that his partner wasn't getting it wrong. So I just took it for what it was. And the last I spoke with you, I was going to have the one that I had completed with the holly. And, it, as you can see, it's really squared off up until this point, and then it tapers so that it would be able to slip on, and then there would be this hangover. That's the idea of these covers.
Yeah.
If you hear anything, my cat is snoring. Maybe I'm just the one hearing it, but still. That's the aspect of these decorations. And I was considering sending him the pillow with the completed hat to him so that he could confirm with me that it was correct, and then I could fulfill the order. But it really registered in me that I have projects that have to be done by Christmas. Last year, I didn't make my decision as to what I was making for my nephews until Thanksgiving. And it was a rush to the end and to the day of Christmas that I was wrapping these gifts because they took so much effort and time out of me to be able to make them accurately.
That one had so many pieces.
Right. And I don't want that to happen again.
No.
My brother made a request as to what this year's presents would be from me, and he gave me a decent...
Oh, a lot of time.
Thank goodness. But with all these other projects, I haven't been giving them the time that I would normally have had these projects not been done. I would already be on the Godzilla easily. Right. And I was telling myself, as long as I send this out, he could get it back to me and I could get them done before the end of November, and that way December he'd be able to have them on display. But this man has already had his trees up. I am not kidding you. He has his cabinets decorated. He has now already had at least 2 trees erected in his house with everything on them. And he probably has, I think he has another one he still has yet to decorate. He's like Stephanie. This is, I swear. Just letting you know. It's happening. This is life. This is tradition.
This is Christmas.
This is Christmas. Thanksgiving gets its 3 days and then we're done. Well, anyway, because of that, I just told myself, I was like, I have to be able to take orders as the description was given to me. I can't always be so self-conscious about it that I'm trying to make sure that nothing's wrong. And not that that is a flaw, but I need to be able to respect myself enough that I would assume that my orders are being filled correctly, and I'm doing it as to what they've already told me the dimensions would be.
Right.
I have to trust that my customer gave me the right description as to what they wanted.
Exactly.
Because if I'm getting orders at any time in which they are not going to be there to correct me, I will have to continue as if they had been right the first time.
Right.
At any given time, I have to do that. And with a deadline like this, I'd set it myself. I have my surgery on Friday. I want to have all the hats done by Wednesday. At least made. If they're not fully decorated, that's easily done. But I could have the bulk of the project done by Wednesday.
Right.
To say that I didn't attempt that very well would be a lie. I definitely am very well off to being done at least by tomorrow. They will be done. But I had a scare this week that left me with my time being kind of cut in half. I had a friend that was in jeopardy and was contemplating the end of her life way too soon, and I needed to give my time over to that. And that is not me trying to call her out in any way. People get into those situations, and it's why we have friends.
Well, not only that, but this time of year brings a lot of that out.
Right. And so I gave her the time as it would be respectful, and I would hope that someone would give me that time if by any chance I was in any situation in which I needed someone.
In dire straits.
Yeah. Well, because of that, I didn't get sleep because it was at night that this happened, and it left me it was that bump in the road, right? But that internal clock of what you've already set for yourself is already there, so there's that disappointment that's not necessarily necessary, because it's not like they're not going to get to him in decent time. I'm just frustrated because I wanted the bulk of these to be done by today.
The bulk is done.
Okay, so I've had one completion, right? Well, this is one completed work. I have all the pom-poms made, and I have all the leaves made. The berries are easy to make as you do, so I did not feel the need to make them in advance. But the leaves and the pom-poms are made. I just have to sew them on. But I just kind of been making like hat, finish it, start the next one.
Right.
Because this is the project, these big hats. And I have at least 3 more fully done. This is a 6-piece order. I have the next one started, which means I can finish this easily today and then be on to the next one and have that one done by tomorrow. I know I'm going to be done. But that skirt order.
Right.
I know I've mentioned this. I've been making clothes for people because of all these projects and trying to figure out which one's priority, and them all telling me that they're not having me be rushed makes it very hard to kind of determine which ones I'm supposed to give my time to when I have kids and a full life that has to also be maintained at the same time.
True.
Am I?
That's so true.
I don't have a workshop with hours of when I operate. I have to do it when I'm able to sit my butt down and I'm not being interrupted, especially with my sewing machine.
Yeah. I know, because I'm working on a quilt for this same man that wants the hats.
Yeah.
So I have to have time to be able to sit down and do each block too. I get your pain on that one. You gotta have time in your life to do these things.
I have 3 skirts of 4 done, so it's not like the last skirt's gonna take me a lot. It's just that skirt is being made out of a stiffer material, and I've been contemplating having a zipper put in it instead of it just being a slip-on. Part of the reason I have not just gotten that one done, because it's not like they don't take me that long. It's just sitting down and cutting it out and sewing it. But because of contemplating that zipper, and because I have not had time to just sit down and ask if she wants that, I haven't. She was off for 2 weeks down in Georgia to go see her grandkids, and it's just been like the timing is off. But I wanted these 2 big multi-piece orders to be complete before my surgery.
Yeah.
I want that. is going to give me a lot of peace, because then the rest of November I still have these major projects that it means that if I get them done still maybe in December, but still have them done before it's Christmas, I have time for smaller projects like me making my friends something.
Right.
Because I have no problems with my work. I'm getting paid for this. But there's just an aspect of doing crafts for yourself as well. This might still be for a friend, but it's something I want to do. And that's a different feeling.
That's the fun part.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I will get these done, and I have time tomorrow to get that skirt done. I might just make sure that all the other ones are loose ties are done. Maybe I'll just make sure that those 3 skirts are just ready to be handed over. Yeah. Make a price for them. Get it to her. And that way we can discuss the last skirt properly and just give it the time it needs, but still have most of that order done so that she knows I have gotten that done.
That sounds like a good plan.
That way I'm not stressing myself out by making time for something that is not going to execute correctly, because that's just going to frustrate me if I make this skirt and her be like, well, it didn't turn out the way I wanted it, or it's just not wearing right, and it's going to require me to seam rip it and put a darn zipper in it anyway.
Right.
There's no point then.
Right.
But that way she can have the aspect of seeing her orders be fulfilled. I know she's gracious. I know that she's not in a rush, but I know that when you spend money on something, you want to see it. And I just haven't had the time to sit down and let her update her. So I probably might just do that.
I think that's a good plan.
Just get at least those 3 skirts I already have done out of the 4 to her, ready to be to her. And that way I'm not as disappointed with my lot, because obviously my friend was worth it. There's no way in my head that was not something that was not worth my time. It's just when you plan ahead,
right,
and there was a bump in the track, it just frustrates you when your momentum is slowed down just a little.
And I would keep that pattern right down that who it fits, because she may want more.
Yeah, sure. What it was that she pretty much gave me a pre-existing skirt, then it told me that we were going to make it out of material that we bought together, and just said copy and paste. And so that's what I've been doing. These hats do not have a pre-existing pattern. I made them on my own, so I guess if there's anyone who's curious as to how I made these, I can make a tutorial or some sort of aspect to that, because the rim is not the same pattern as this, and that was all inspired by the hat, the same hat on the pillow that I made. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, it's not like anything's bad. It's not like I'm not going to get everything done, but it's just frustrating because I wanted to have the nephew's presents done already. I wanted to be able to show them off to my brother and his wife on Thanksgiving. Obviously the kids might not have seen it.
Well, you still have time for that.
Not to get the Godzilla done.
Oh, I guess not. Well, that's another couple of weeks, though.
Weeks?
Thanksgiving?
Isn't that in 2 weeks?
Yeah. I said a couple of weeks.
I understand that, but that Godzilla's going to be like 200 hours.
You don't have to have it done. I mean, just
see where the progress is. I just don't even have progress on something I haven't even started yet.
Isn't that the truth?
I can get the link done, and that will definitely be done by Thanksgiving, but I'm not even sure where my status will be as to having started that, and it's just that halt in the road.
Right.
But life is good. It's not like things don't come in their right time, so we're just gonna...
Yeah, and that's why we chose this verse today. Be still and know that I am God. And that's found in Psalm 46:10. And my thoughts on this, I wrote a little bit down this morning, is just to quiet your inner thoughts down, and listen to God's voice. He may be trying to tell you something important, and your thoughts and your feelings in your head are getting in the way of what He is trying to say. You're distracted, or you've got your devices going in your hand all the time, and you're just not listening.
You're overstimulated.
Yeah, not listening to the things that maybe that He's trying to get across to you. And so to be still. When I'm doing my Bible studies in the morning, especially when I'm reading the Bible, I turn off my own inner thoughts and I just read. And it comes to me a lot easier when I just shut off my own thoughts, and I'm able to focus a lot better on what He's trying to tell me in the Bible. And when I saw this today, it was just like, my friend had given me this sign that says this, and I looked at it today, and it was like, yeah, that's the verse for today. I want people to get the feeling that we're trying to get across here. We want you to have peace, the peace that passes all understanding. Peace is something that God is offering us, and in this time, especially in this time where the holidays are coming up, peace is going to be sought after and wanted by others. And if they see that you have it, they're going to ask you where you're getting it, and you can tell them that, if you're still, and be still and know that I am God. If you're still enough, God will make Himself known to you. So, I don't know, do you have any thoughts on this?
Monday night, when I was in my dire straits with my friend trying to figure out what to do, pretty much what happened was me and her were in conversation, and I could not tell to the severity or as to the, are you gonna do this? Like, I had not really dived deep into, how serious is this?
Right.
Are you just having thoughts? Are they just bombarding you? Or are you like having a bottle at the ready that you're about to chug pills? The severity as to I'm about to, and I've just thought about it. Where is that? Because there are levels.
There's a different aspect in all that.
Right. I just need someone to talk to because I'm having intrusive thoughts. Okay, we all have that. Like, to varying degrees, I don't think about ending my life, but I'm not judging her for it. Please understand that. It was just
the devil gets to all of us,
and it's unique. So I was trying to figure out what was going on, right? And we were talking very steadily for an hour, like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth texting. And all of a sudden, she said, "I can't do this anymore." And no matter how hard I texted, not hard, but how many times I texted her and even calling her, I wasn't getting no reply. Contact others that are aware of the situation, and they can't get a hold of her either. Now, my friend is not a legal adult yet. She is younger, and it's not that she's living in a terrible environment, but her environment is not necessarily healthy, and they have led to all these different things. I was not necessarily in fear of danger being done to her as much as what she could possibly do to herself.
Yeah.
That was a completely different thing. From my aspect, there is not anything that has been done to her that would cause her to feel that she was necessarily in danger, more of
just her own thoughts.
Yeah, her own thoughts, right. And that sudden silence, when I talked to other people in the middle of the night, that was the catcher. Do you call? Do I call and have a well check done? When she doesn't have a good relationship with her parents, when they don't even take her seriously. not saying that they're bad parents, but there's just a lot to this story. Please understand that there's more than just this one aspect that lead into this, but I had to take it seriously to some degree. And I'm talking with a youth leader, 3 o'clock in the morning, had not slept yet. And there was just this, we're going to go to bed. We're going to pray. We're going to go to bed. And we're going to trust that God has this. Because something doesn't feel right, but something feels like we're not supposed to call. I understand that to some viewers that might be very triggering, and please understand that it wasn't that I wasn't willing to. Like I said, there is more to the story than just this that compelled us to make that decision. And I started to pray. And I just said, God, I trust you. I trust that you're going to take care of this, because where I fail, you're not going to fail her.
Right.
If something were to happen, I know that she is your beloved, and where it says that your beloved is, you are with them.
Yeah.
I know that you're going to give her good sleep. I know that you're going to give her peace of mind. I know that there are aspects that you can give her that I can't. And this right now, I don't know if the conversation just got too real and she just needed to stop. I don't know what happened. But no matter what, where I fail, you don't. Your faithfulness is surpassing. And I know that in this situation, you are much more aware, much more keen, and know more than I do as to what's going on, and that you are going to make a way when there is no way.
Yeah.
And there was much more that I prayed, but there was just this overwhelmingness of, I shouldn't be able to go to sleep to what I have been, to the things that have been texted to me. There was no peace there.
Right.
But yet, I prayed a prayer, and I laid down, and I believed that my God was going to do what I couldn't, and I went to sleep.
God sees the whole picture where we only see in part. So,
and I went to sleep.
Yeah.
I woke up in tears.
Wow.
And the reason being was because I woke up to an intrusive thought. I have my own. And my biggest one that I deal with is, what if you got it wrong? I have dealt with that thought for most of my life.
Wow.
What if you've done something wrong? What if this was your fault? I have dealt with that for a very long time, but in this situation it was different, because it wasn't something where it's like I'm left with the consequence. It is, what if I didn't make it in time? What if I didn't take it seriously? I woke up shaking. I was scared out of my mind. And luckily my husband stayed home from work that day because of everything that happened. And he just held me for a minute. And I just said, I can't be alone. So you're going to have to wake up with me with the kids. Because I woke up because the kids were crying. And I only got like 2.5 hours of sleep to that. And yet, I sat up. And I just had God say to me, just very matter of fact, do you trust me? And I just said, yes. And he said, do you trust me? Do you trust that I am God? And that I am going to do everything as according as to how it's supposed to be? And I said, yes, but free will. And he said, do you trust me? And I said yes, and he said that just believe that it's taken care of. I walked out of my bedroom and I had a very overwhelming sense that everything was going to be okay. There was moments in which my spirit would just be unquieted, and then I would just be freaking out, but all of a sudden it was just, oh, God said he had it. And I just sit down and I was quiet. Oh, God said he had it. It's fine. God said he had it. And I can't help but, and just to clarify, she has not made contact with me, but luckily the youth leader in which I was in contact with, she contacted her and everything is okay. So please, in context, know everything's okay. We're dealing with it and we're seeking professional help for this situation. This is not something that we're taking lightly. We are going to be working hard on making sure that she is safe. But I am reminded of the story of Jesus on the boat, where he's sleeping through the storm and everyone's freaking out, not being able to get any sort of peace because the circumstances around them were uncontrollable and they thought they were going to die. People that did this their whole lives thought that everything was going to just be swept out from underneath them. Intense situations that are out of our control. And what decision do you make? And what if the mast snaps? And what if we get rolled over? And what if I could have been completely... What if we just messed up and it could have been something avoidable? And those thoughts that just race our minds, and yet Jesus is asleep. And it looked like he didn't care. And an aspect it didn't affect him. Because he was in peace. And what did he say to the storm? Be still.
Yeah.
Be still and know that I am God. Be still. And the storm had to stop. Peace, when we talk about peace that passes all understanding, it's a phrase we use in the Christian community, but it is a verse.
It is a verse.
We quote it from a verse to anyone who might not know. But it's talking about that like something bad is happening and there should be no way that we are feeling the way that we are, but that God has already provided a way, and we, even though not being able to see it, but with our faith know that it is taken care of. Being able to walk in the fact that even though it's not done, being able to live as if it has already been done.
He drops that peace right in your spirit.
And it's just this ka-thunk. Act as if it's already done. The decision's already made. Now act as if it's already done.
Yeah.
And it's not a blindfulness, because we as skeptical humans, mere mortals, still deal with that concept and deal with intrusive thoughts of the cognitive brain that say, well, that shouldn't be how it is. This situation is bad. You should be reacting accordingly. You should be reacting in your flight or flight response. You should be taking care of things. You should be preparing. You should be this. But if it's harboring in fear,
right,
that's not how God wants us to do. Because if God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And that sound mind is very important. And if you're living and doing actions based off of fear, not that it isn't natural, I'm not discrediting or invalidating any experience that you've ever had, because fear is terrible, and it's terrible to live under, and it's terrible because of the person it makes you or other people around you. And I am sorry if you deal with that. Please understand that we are not being insensitive to that.
Right.
It is the aspect that that's not how we are meant to live.
No, we're supposed to live in faith.
And when we have God, we operate in peace and love and a sound mind that allows us to be able to have peace that surpasses circumstances that we are without control. Even if we felt that we could have done something, God has already made the decision, and we operate under his promises. If God had told me, call the police, I would have.
Yeah.
But I wasn't being led to do that. Is not saying that situation wasn't severe. It was that obviously my friend just needed time, and she just did not know or how to express that she needed that other than to put her phone down. And sadly, that's scary, but that's just what she needed, and God was meeting her where she was at that time, taking care of it. And if I had called the police, that would disrupted her spirit and ruined what he was doing at that time.
All right. And to be quite honest with you, when I saw this verse this morning on my wall, I wrote it down, had my thoughts,
about it,
and didn't know any of this.
I know.
When I came over, she told me, and that was it. I mean, it was just like so God dropped this verse for today, for you guys as well as for her.
It was Monday night.
Yeah, but I mean...
Yeah, I'm saying, you dropped me off after the Bible study, and
I'm saying I found this morning, and I didn't know about this story until I got here today.
No, I know. What I'm saying is that it was Monday night when you dropped me off from the Bible study. All that we talked about and everything that we were doing and discussing led into that night.
Right.
It was a very just intense, just non-stop roller coaster, because me and my mom were having a very intense discussion based off of the Bible study, and I was even texting her after that.
Right.
Where our conversation did not end after she dropped me off, and we were talking for a while, and I was just finally settling in to just get my projects done, and I got that text.
Right.
And it just led into a very, very long night.
But see, I didn't know that.
And I just did.
But God did.
But God did. And it's just one of those things of be still and know that I'm God. Jesus sleeping through the storm and waking up and just and having that experience of not understanding why I'm in peace. Even I had enough peace to fall asleep, even though my brain just minutes before were rattling and scared out of my mind, and then all of a sudden I had peace enough to fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden just having that vision of Jesus being like, be still. And then just the whole, you don't operate in fear. And then just to have that last word be in a sound mind. There's things that we cannot process how he ministers to us, but he does. And I am grateful to a God that is more more than enough in every situation and meets us where we're at and is faithful to do his work perfectly, to make things as they are meant to be. And, the devil messes with our lives so aggressively, but Jesus can still put them back on the right path and work them according to how he intended them to happen. And I'm going to get these projects done, and my friend is going to be fine, and my best friend is going to have such encouragement from this project, and I'm believing that these are going to fit the chairs, and you know what I mean? You just move forward. You just keep moving forward, believing as if things are done the way that, faith is sometimes the action of believing that things are even though they're not yet. To be able to have that practice of it is done. It kind of reminds me of the farmer that even though they said it was going to be dry season and no rain, there was no way that he was going to be able to get a harvest unless he planted and prepared his field. And yet his neighbor did not do that because he believed that there was going to be no rain and did not want to waste his seed. And yet, guess who got a harvest? The one who believed that even though there were no physical aspect of rain, he still prepared, because no matter what, there was no chance of having it unless you prepared for it. There's no chance of me having these orders done, even if they're wrong, unless I have the assurance that, hey, I have the time now. I'm just going to get them done so he can appreciate them for Christmas, because that's what he told me. I got to believe that when God gives me a prayer of insurance that things are going to work out,
and they did.
That they're going to. Because I have to believe that my God knew and was not surprised about what was happening, was well aware and already had a plan, and if I was a part of it, he was going to let me know what I was supposed to do. And if I was going to be outside of the plan, it was going to mess it up.
Right.
I obeyed, even though my instincts told me to do something more. He told me to sit still and know that he was God and that he was going to take care of it. And I was able to sleep in the storm. And in the morning, everything was fine. The storm was done.
It's a good thing.
We have a faithful God.
Yes, we do.
And I know that my surgery is going to be fine.
Yep.
And by this time next week, it will be done. I won't even have my stint in. Everything will just be done. And I won't have kidney stones anymore.
Exactly.
It's amazingly enough, I haven't been dealing with pain except for this morning because I'm stressed. Because, peace comes at a cost still. You have to be going through something to know what it is.
That's true.
Freedom only comes when you understand what freedom is.
Well, and you can't see the light unless it's dark. So,
we love you all. We hope that this rather long video did not disappoint. We really needed this today. I know I did, at least.
Yeah.
And I am excited. If by chance, just so you know, I need to know if you guys want this pattern for the hat. Just need to know.
For the Santa hat.
Yep. For the Santa hat covers for chairs. I can write it down just for reference, just in case someone later on watches this video and then says they wanted it from a so-and-so video ago.
Right.
If it's not immediate, I can write it down. Because it's applicable to any size of chair. I can express the dynamics of how you'd be able to make it work for your said chair.
Right.
Very easily. It's a very flexible pattern to size. But other than that, I had something I was going to say besides that, or before ending the video. We are going to be announcing the day in which we're going to be asking the question for the giveaway.
I think we'll do that in 2 weeks.
Okay, we'll do it in 2 weeks, and then the following week we'll let you guys know who won for the blanket and the pillow that we've both made as a giveaway, as a celebration for our first year anniversary on this channel.
And we want to thank the new subscribers.
Yes, there were some new subscribers.
Yeah, we're happy to have you with us.
Yes, and we're excited that you want to even spend time with us, because this has been much more of a ramble than it has been a share all. But no, I feel like I'm missing something, but we're just gonna end it here. Pretty much, if you want my pattern, or you want this pattern that was inspired by a photo I had seen, I am more than willing to share it with you guys.
Yeah.
And its own video or something. And I just want to encourage you all. You know, things might not work as you think that they should, but you're still going to find a way.
Right.
You know, most people can pass kidney stones on their own, but yet I was very blessed to be able to be put in a position in which that mine didn't. I'm able to have it just be taken care of.
Right, and the insurance is all figured out now.
Yeah, it's just those things of God's faithful. He works everything out to how it's going to work and how He, and the timing in which He wanted it to happen.
Right.
So, just I don't know. If you have questions, if there's anything that you would like to discuss with us in private, maybe about our relationship with God, or questions that you might have, or comments that you might want to leave that are much more private, or prayer requests, we have a link to our private email that you can send something to us that way if you do not want to do it on the public section underneath this video. We are again excited for this giveaway, and we will continue to update you guys and remind you to be able to celebrate it with us. And I really feel like there was something else I wanted to say. Well, I am probably going to beat myself up over it because it's probably something really simple and I just don't know what it is. But we love you guys, and we're grateful to be able to spend our Wednesdays with you, and that you be able to see it on Fridays.
Yep.
And I remembered. All right. If I'm done with these hats, they might not be a finished project that I show off next week. They might be already sent.
Right.
That's what I was trying to say. So if you want the hat pattern, this is going to be the last time you might see it in person. So
we can get it to you.
But we can get it to you. But these hats might be completed and already sent as a done deal project to the person who ordered them. So that's what I was trying to say. This might, even though the order's not complete now, they might be done and already gone and not be able to be something I can show again. So if you want the pattern, it's not that I don't have it in my brain. I can still make a video on it or something. Okay. So that's what I was trying to say. Okay, that's easy enough. Sorry about that. All right, we're going to say goodbye. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. And again, we hope that you are having a good day and that we might be able to encourage you. We are encouraged every single time we do this because we love this sense of community. We hope you have a good day. And as always, we hope that you stitch your way
to mental health.